5 Championship Wrestling returns to the Capitol Center. The wrestling action set, they're getting underway on that afternoon at 1 o'clock. And scheduled, ladies and gentlemen, to appear on the card will be the likes of the Samoans meeting individual competition, Rene Goulet and Pedro Morales, respectively. We'll see Sergeant Slaughter tangle with Pat Patterson. We'll see, ladies and gentlemen, the likes of Larry Zbyszko square off against Mr. USA Tony Atlas, and from there, Ken Patera, hopeful of becoming the World Wrestling Federation champion at the expense of Bob Backlund. Our guest now will be Larry Zbyszko, who knows full well, I think you'll have to admit, you're going to be squaring off against one of the most formidable athletes to ever step in. What are you doing?
The wrestling ring, right? Let me tell you why you're wrong. Last week I said Tony needs a psychiatrist because Tony is laden with guilt. Now I'm going to explain why, because I know everybody is saying, what? And so are you. Tony has got muscles galore, and Tony seems very intelligent. Tony seems like a heck of a good athlete, but Tony's mind is laden with guilt. And what is going to happen is this: when he's in the dressing room in 10 minutes or so before, you know, he's going to have to go in that ring and he's warming up, he's thinking, boy, will I feel ashamed if I don't win, because what will my parents think? What will the fans think? The people that I shut my mouth off to, when Larry Zbyszko beats me, am I going to feel bad? I'll be embarrassed. I'll let my parents down, because when he was a kid, he was nagged, and thrown guilt trips on, just like everybody else. You know, you make a sin, what will the priest think of you? And you feel like crap. And Tony Atlas is going to be so bogged down with guilt and worry, what everybody's going to think, that I'm going to beat him no sweat. Because I'm going to be a free man in that ring, Tony, and you are going to be an emotional cripple, and you can't win.
Larry Zbyszko's commentary. Our guest now will be Arnold Skaaland, the Golden Boy, representing, of course, Bob Backlund. Arnold?
Well, it's going to be a tough night. Real tough night.
Yes,
but
indeed.
We're ready.
Well, Ken Patera is going to be ready as well, as he's never been ready before. I think herein perhaps the toughest competition Bob Backlund has faced in quite a while.
That's true. Ken is a great athlete. He's a strong man. He was Olympic champion, strong. He knows wrestling. But Bob knows just a little bit more, I believe.
You don't seem to be too worried about it.
Well, you're always worried. You know, something can always happen. There's always a chance for an upset, like in anything else. But we're not thinking along those lines.
You're thinking positively, and thus another victory.
Right.
Thank you. Arnold Skaaland. And we may now direct our attention to the Grand Wizard of Wrestling. The Grand Wizard, of course, manages one Sergeant Slaughter, but Ken Patera has the big opportunity here, does he not?
Indeed he does, and I suggest that you buy your friend Mr. Skaaland and Mr. Backlund some sponges for the tears that are going to flow. I never belittle any opponent that Ken Patera or the Sergeant has. We never underestimate our opponent. But the one basic thing besides the strength, the power, and everything else that Ken Patera possesses that Backlund does not. Ken Patera goes for the jugular, and he hangs on, and he doesn't let go. He goes in for the kill, and that's exactly what he's going to do. That's why he's going to be the new champion.
Words of wisdom from the Grand Wizard of Wrestling. Our guest now, ladies and gentlemen, the opponent of Larry Zbyszko, about ready to step into view here, Mr. USA Tony Atlas, who, according to Larry Zbyszko, claims you have all kind of guilt complexes and stuff like that, and your mind isn't clear. You're not a free spirit when you go in that squared circle. How do you react to that, Tony?
Well, Larry, let me explain one thing to you, brother. I'm not guilty about nothing, because it wasn't me who turned on my best friend. It wasn't me who did the dirty, low-down, mischievous things you did. The only thing that I do, brother, I just pity you that you ain't got enough sense to just reach back and pull out and swallow your pride for 1 minute and go to Bruno like the man you should be and apologize to him, because the man didn't never do you no wrong. It was you that started the whole mess about the man running around here putting you underneath him. You was underneath him because you wasn't qualified to be in Bruno's shoes yet, and you couldn't accept that. It ain't no guilt here, none whatsoever. And if you think that I'm scared of you for one sucker, you come on to the Capitol Center and get one of them good old-fashioned whoopings, which you should have had a long time ago.
Tony Atlas.